Carly Davis, your host of the Untold Miracles podcast, and today we have a very special guest. She's a singer and an actress who starred as Maya Hart on the Disney Channel series Girl Meets World. She's a Radio Disney Music Award winner, and she is a celebrity ambassador for the Ryan Seacrest Foundation. She is currently working on her third album, and her new single, Almost Love, comes out tomorrow. Sabrina Carpenter, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going so well. Thank you so much for your time today. Sabrina, before we start, I want to thank you for all you do for the kids treated at Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Each year, we treat 10 million kids at 170 hospitals, and you've met so many of them through your work with Seacrest Studios by visiting the kids, singing for them, brightening their day, especially on those days when it's really hard to have a smile. And I just want to thank you so much for your big heart for helping kids.
Oh, thank you so much. They honestly do more for me, I think, than I do for them most of the time. So I'm just really lucky that I get to do it.
Well, I was going to ask you, I'd love to know your why for getting involved and how these experiences with the kids have impacted your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I started touring. These past 2 years of my life were the first time I've ever been on the road. And it was a very, very different experience for me. It's not something that anyone can ever really prepare you for. You just kind of go. And I knew because luckily before, as I'd been going to different cities around the world, I had gotten to go to a few of the Seacrest hospitals and meet some of the kids. And they were always just so good to me. And I really wanted to get involved on a bigger scale. So I decided that when I was on the road that I would visit every single hospital in the U.S. And so I've gotten to meet so many amazing kids. And like I said, I would go in there and I would just forget all of my problems and I would listen to them and we would have so much fun together, and they really do brighten my day and they inspire me so much. So I hope to do way more. I hope to stay involved with them for a really long time. But again, I want to be able to meet as many of them as possible because they inspire me in a lot of ways.
Is there one moment that stood out from you from all of the experiences that you've had? Because I know that you do so many of these visits and you meet so many kids. Is there one moment in particular where you just will remember for a lifetime?
I've kept in contact with this girl back and forth over, the past few years. Ever since I first met her, I had a song a few years ago called We'll Be the Stars. And this girl's name was Mackenzie. And she was just one of the sweetest angels I've ever met. And she loved that song. And she made this whole music video in her hospital with her nurses to We'll Be the Stars. And it was so crazy to me that like I did that at that age. I was doing exactly what she was doing, making music videos. But of course I wasn't going through what she was going through. So the fact that she was doing that and she was still being a kid and using her imagination and just making the best out of it, I was blown away, and still send me drawings, and it's the sweetest thing in the world, and I love her so much. They all stand out to me in so many ways. I can't tell you. There's been some of them that have brought me to tears many, many times. So I love them with all of my heart.
Sabrina, you've accomplished so much in just 19 years. You just barely turned 19 this month, or on May 11th. But I want to go back to when you were younger and learn more about your childhood. What were your dreams, and were there any miracles involved with you becoming this amazing singer, songwriter, actress? Tell us about your childhood.
I'm very, very lucky to say that Sabrina as a child had the same dreams as Sabrina right now. I think just Sabrina right now realizes that, with so much hard work and just continuing to push and continuing to not let anybody, because you deal with a lot of rejection, I think. So it's dealing with that. But I think that now I think of them on a more realistic scale. And when I was younger, it was just like, I played with Barbies every day. I really was like, I used my imagination. I played with them by myself. Like I had all of the Mary Kay and Ashley Barbies. And then when I was in third or fourth grade, I started to become homeschooled because I really wanted to start pursuing a career at that age for whatever reason. Because I just knew that if I wanted to do what I wanted to do, I had to start. I always was very determined, and I didn't know. There was never any sort of sense of I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what path to go down. It was just, I love to sing. I want to learn how to act, and I'm just going to do it however I can. And I was very lucky that I had an incredible, family around me that supported me and didn't see my childhood dreams as unrealistic or something that I could never attain. They were very much supportive of me. And I think that was something that I couldn't really ask for. They were just so incredible. So, yeah, I mean, it's a really, really long road to get to where I am now. And it'll be an even longer road to get to where I want to be. But I'm having a lot of fun while I'm doing it. And it's nice to know that I've continued on the same path that I've always wanted to since I was a child.
Sabrina, what accomplishment in your life are you most proud of? I mean, I know you're only 19, but you've done a lot. Like, what are you most proud of?
Wow. I get this question a lot, and it's so hard because I think there's all these little moments that, you know, I try to look at things in little smaller bits and pieces instead of like one big thing that you always have to live up to. You know what I mean? But I think that in the past few years, I've grown this relationship with songwriting in a way that I don't think when I was younger, I knew that I liked it, but I didn't know that I had as much of a connection as I do now. And the fact that I've been able to take control in so many aspects of an industry that tries to control you is something that I'm very, very proud of at this point. And I hope to continue to follow on that path. And, you know, so I'd say the songwriting.
Well, you mentioned that it can be challenging to be, you know, in the music industry and be an artist and a celebrity. What has been the greatest hurdle or challenge that you've had to overcome pursuing your dreams?
I really do think it is a sense of self and a sense of knowing who you are. And for me, I guess that's knowing who I am as an artist and an actress. You know, it's not necessarily just the songs that I write, but it's also like projects that I choose that I want to be a part of. And it all takes kind of knowing who you are. And also it's always scary because, you know, you'll get these choices and you're like, well, if you do this, you might not get to do this. And this might be the biggest thing you've ever done in your life, or this, you know, might turn into nothing. So there's always these dramatic, like do or die situations. And you just feel like, okay, you know, I'm 19. I just have to do what my heart is telling me. So at this point, I think it really is just listening to myself. But there's definitely hurdles and challenges that come with it always.
So when you're not writing songs and acting and singing, what do you do in your free time, if you ever have any?
That's a great question, actually. I think a lot of people around me, my friends and family, know. They're like, we have to either build a day in your schedule where we tell you to have a day off, or, you know, because it's not easy for me. I get excited about what I'm doing, which is good. I guess that means I'm not jaded, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I get really excited about all the things that I'm doing and all the things I want to do. So it kind of distracts me sometimes, and I always feel like even when I have time off, I have to be creatively thinking about things. So I think in my actual time off, if I have any, I have really, really great friends and family around me, and I just like to spend time with them. I don't watch like a lot of TV. So I feel like that's mostly like what I would say. But I think if anything, like I just like to spend time with people that make me laugh and make me happy.
What is something that most people just don't know about you?
Oh, this is the hardest question.
Is there a hidden talent that you haven't shared with the world?
You know what? I've always loved to draw. That is one thing I've always loved to do. And I grew up, I mean, I was dancing for 10 years. And I did competitive dance. For a couple years towards the end, but then after that, I moved up to California and I started working on Girl Meets World. So I kind of had to like stop dancing, and I was so used to it because I was dancing 6 days a week and multiple, like 4 to 5 hours a day. So it was definitely a big part of my life that then had to kind of shift. And so I wasn't in it as much, but yeah, I mean, dancing was always something and still is something that I really, really love and hope I get to do more of soon.
I want to know the best advice you've ever been given and one thing that you wish you would have known sooner.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I've had so much incredible advice given to me that it's very hard to pick one. I think a lot of the times it's a matter of staying humble. And I know that's such like an over said statement, but I think also it's really a lot nowadays with social media, you're always so focused on what everybody else is doing. And, you're constantly overthinking things. And so I think for me, it's just a matter of knowing like why I'm doing things. And, if I have a reason, the reason is because I love it and it makes me happy. And then what was the other one?
What's one thing you wish you had known sooner that you know now?
I wish I knew how to do math when I was younger. If I'm being honest, because I was never great at math. And then once algebra came into play, I was out. I just didn't. I don't get it. It just didn't make sense.
I love it. Sabrina, what is one of the biggest miracles in your life?
I think all the love that I've received in every single form that I've received it in, whether it's the strangers every day on the street that can stop me and say something nice to me as opposed to saying something not nice to me. It's little things like that. It's my family. It's my friends. It's the team around me that has like shown me support. It's also love that has inspired so many of my songs and so many of just the moments where I get really excited. So I think love is the simplest way to put it, but it's in a lot of different ways.
I do have some questions from our kids, from our Miracle Kids, if you're okay with that. Okay, great. This is from Olivia in Indiana, and she wants to know your favorite lipstick brand and color.
Okay, first of all, Indiana is always my loudest show on tour, fun fact. So just let her know I love it there.
That's great.
My favorite lipstick brand and color, I'm probably the worst person to ask this because I don't really wear lipstick. I'm not much of a lipstick person. But I definitely do use, I use like gloss. There's this brand called Pat McGrath, and I like her colors a lot. And she's got really, really beautiful colors that my sister showed me her makeup recently, and so I've been wearing some of those.
Love that. Okay, Dion's from Texas wants to know what your favorite pair of shoes is and what your favorite color of shoe is.
I recently just got this new pair of Converse that I love. And they're pretty classic. They're white and they've got some cool writing on them. So I'd say those. They're just comfortable.
Okay, this is from Luke, and he lives in Lehigh Valley, actually. And he wants to know if you prefer Peeps, Mike and Ike's, or Hot Tamales. And for listeners, all these candies are made in Just Born, which is in Bethlehem, which is in Lehigh Valley, correct?
I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, I didn't know it either. So which one is your favorite?
Wow, Peeps, Mike and Ike's, and Hot Tamales. I would say Mike and Ike's personally. I'm not much of a hot tamales person, and I don't really think I've ever eaten Peeps like that. I've always seen Peeps as decoration, so I'd say Mike and Ike's.
Lucy, I'm forgetting where Lucy is from, but she wants to know what you did for your birthday on May 11th.
Oh my God, she's so sweet. I was on set. I just finished filming a movie in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was there for a month, and that was my last day on set, and we were filming at White Sands. Do you know what that is?
I don't.
It's basically like, well, when I say White Sands, I mean it's just this whole entire piece of land that's completely covered in white sand. So it's clean, it's beautiful, it's stunning. And we finished filming the movie that day. So I was working all day, and by the time I got home, my birthday was over, and so I was like, okay, well, now I'm 19. But it was nice. It was nice to be around those people.
All right, this is from Caden, and he's from Pennsylvania. He wants to know what your favorite thing about growing up in Lehigh Valley was.
Oh, my favorite thing about growing up in Lehigh Valley. The thing for me is because it was such an intimate place. But for me, it felt like, a big city. And it was not, believe me. But there's this restaurant that I always went to growing up and still go to every time I go home called the Limeport Inn. And they were just such an incredible restaurant. And I remember singing for the tables when I was like 6 years old. I would sing people happy birthday, and they were always so kind to me. And like, I was kind of just like raised around them because we would go all the time. And I love their food, and their chocolate cake is like my favorite thing in the world.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, this actually helps answer the next question. This is from Olivia in Georgia, and she wants to know what age you decided to be a singer and what inspired you to do so.
There's video proof of me singing when I was as young as 2. But I think when I was 6 years old, I decided, I decided that I wanted to be a singer. So I believe I was 6. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I know we're almost out of time. I think we have 1 minute left. Just a couple quick fire questions for you before we end. Yeah. If we looked inside your fridge today, what would we find?
Oh my gosh, nothing. I haven't been to the grocery store in so long.
Okay, so no food. What is the funniest thing that's happened to you recently?
The funniest thing that's happened to me?
Yes.
Oh gosh, I can't answer that
if you're willing to share.
Fire round. Oh, there was a lizard in my house the other day, and I had to catch it, and I was freaking out.
But how'd you do it? Not with your hands?
No. So my sister and I were there, and I called my friend, and she was like, throw a wet paper towel on it because I will catch him. And then my other friend came over because he was dropping something off at my house, and so then he picked it up and put it outside. But it was very stressful. Wasn't funny in the moment, but now it's really funny.
Okay, the last question, and I asked this question to all of our guests. If there were 3 miracles that you could create in the world today, what would that look like for you?
I would say 1, more kindness, more love, more acceptance. Mm-hmm. I think for me that those are things we could use a little bit more of. Not so much judging people by what we think they're going through, but, either taking the time to get to know them, to know what they're going through, or to keep some opinions to ourselves and to just live every day as if it was our last day. It sounds so cliche, but really, if you think about it like that, you'll be a lot kinder. And I think in the long run, you'll be a lot happier that you were kinder, being a little bit more tender with people.
I don't think you need 2 more miracles. If you have love, you pretty much solve all of the world's problems. But Sabrina, I just want to thank you so much for your time today. And also, I've been listening to your music this morning, and I've been listening on repeat Alien, and I'm so excited to hear Almost Love coming up so soon. And you are an inspiration. I met you at the red carpet at the Radio Disney Awards last year, and you met Sasha. You were so kind to her. You're so loving to the kids. You're such a great example of how to be love. And so I just want to acknowledge you for the force of love that you are in the world, and just thank you for being a guest, and good luck to everything you have going on the rest of the year.
Aw, thanks.
Thank you, Speedway, for hosting the 27th Annual Speedway Miracle Golf Tournament on June 11th. Golf tournament proceeds, along with in-store fundraising at Speedway locations, has raised $100 million for sick and injured kids at Children's Miracle Network hospitals since 1991.